The world of professional football bid an emotional farewell to one of its most enduring icons as James Milner officially announced his retirement from the sport at the age of 40. For nearly a quarter of a century, the tireless midfielder exemplified the very definition of longevity, professionalism, and elite athleticism. His decision to hang up his boots marks the end of an extraordinary era for the Premier League, leaving behind a legacy that will be studied by aspiring athletes for generations to come. Milner's journey began in late 2002 when he made his debut for his boyhood club, Leeds United, at the tender age of 16. It didn't take long for the prodigy to make history, becoming the youngest goalscorer in Premier League history at the time, with a stunning strike against Sunderland. Even in those formative years, teammates and coaches noted an old head on young shoulders, a characteristic that would define his entire career. His transition from a blistering young winger to the ultimate utility player was a testament to his tactical intelligence and selflessness. Over the next 2 decades, Milner would seamlessly transition across positions, playing as a traditional winger, a central creative hub, a defensive anchor, and even a dependable fullback. No matter where he was deployed on the pitch, his tactical discipline and work rate remained fiercely consistent. While his journeys took him through Newcastle United and Aston Villa, it was his high-profile move to Manchester City in 2010 that elevated him to the elite tier of English football. At City, Milner became an indispensable cog in a star-studded machine, helping the club secure its historic first Premier League title in 2012 and another in 2014. His grit provided the perfect balance to the flair of players like David Silva and Sergio Aguero. However, it was perhaps his free transfer to Liverpool FC in 2015 that cemented his status as a modern-day legend of the game. Arriving at Anfield just as Jurgen Klopp was beginning his revolution, Milner was immediately appointed vice-captain. His veteran presence, rigorous standards, and relentless energy became the bedrock of a squad that would go on to conquer England, Europe, and the world. During his glittering 8-year spell on Merseyside, Milner lifted every major trophy available. He was instrumental in Liverpool's historic 2019 UEFA Champions League triumph and the elusive 2020 Premier League title, which ended the club's 30-year top-flight drought. For the Anfield faithful, Milner was the man for the big occasion, famously setting the record for the most assists in a single Champions League campaign. Beyond the trophies and accolades, Milner was perhaps best known for his legendary fitness levels. Even in his late 30s, he consistently beat players a decade younger in Liverpool's notoriously grueling preseason lactate tests. His commitment to nutrition, total abstinence from alcohol, and meticulous recovery routines allowed him to defy the natural aging process in a sport that grows faster and more physical every year. His final chapters in the Premier League saw him continue to break boundaries, providing vital leadership and experience to his final clubs. Even as his playing minutes naturally diminished, his influence inside the dressing room remained monumental. Managers constantly praised his ability to set the culture, demand excellence from his peers, and mentor the next generation of academy graduates. By the time he reached his 40th year, he had achieved the unthinkable by breaking the all-time record for the most appearances in Premier League history. Surpassing legends who had gone before him, his final appearance tally stands as a monument to sustained excellence. It is a record born not just of immense talent, but of an unparalleled refusal to break down or fade away. The announcement of his retirement triggered a massive wave of tributes from across the footballing landscape. Former managers, including Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola, spoke in unison about his impeccable character and selflessness. Social media was flooded with messages from former teammates, who universally labeled him as the finest professional they had ever shared a dressing room with. Fans, too, expressed their deep admiration for a player who represented the honest, hard-working soul of the game. In an era often dominated by flashiness and social media brands, Milner was celebrated for his humility and dry wit. He famously leaned into the internet meme of being boring James Milner, using it to showcase a brilliant sense of humor that endeared him even further to the public. Milner's impact also stretched far beyond the pitch through the James Milner Foundation. For over a decade, his charity work has raised millions of pounds to support heavy-hearted causes, including blood cancer research, children's hospices, and promoting healthy recreation for young people. His retirement from playing will undoubtedly allow him to dedicate even more time to these vital philanthropic endeavors. As the curtain falls on his 24-year playing career, discussions have already turned to what the future holds for the veteran. With his deep understanding of the game, unmatched leadership qualities, and universal respect within the industry, many expect Milner to smoothly transition into coaching or managerial roles. Any boardroom or technical staff would be immensely upgraded by his presence. The Premier League will undoubtedly feel a little different without the familiar sight of number 7 warming up along the touchline, ready to come on and close out a tough match. He leaves a void that cannot be easily filled by a single player, as athletes of his specific mold, dedication, and longevity are a rare breed in modern sports. Ultimately, James Milner retires not just as a heavily decorated champion, but as a symbol of what can be achieved through pure dedication and an elite mentality. He entered the game as a boy full of promise in Yorkshire, and he leaves it 4 decades later as an immortal icon of English football.